For the Ferrari Formula One team, these are particularly intense and high-pressure days at Maranello, despite the fact that the factory is observing the 14 consecutive days of closure mandated by the sporting regulations. The strict pause, required to ensure compliance with FIA rules, has not diminished the tension within the iconic Italian team. As often happens in the broader context of both sport and everyday life, unfulfilled promises can turn into what many describe as a deadly boomerang that ultimately harms those who issued them. Yet, in the collective imagination of motorsport fans worldwide, the Prancing Horse, the symbol of Ferrari, remains synonymous with excellence, precision, and innovation, regardless of current performance fluctuations. Because of Ferrari's historical prestige and the weight of its global reputation, any outcome that falls short of success is simply unacceptable, particularly when preceded by ambitious proclamations and grandiose statements from management. One of the most persistent sources of confusion and concern among the fans of the Ferrari is the communication issue within the team. More specifically, the frequent mismatch between Frederic Vasseur's public statements and the accounts given by the drivers of the two SF25 cars has caused widespread discussion among fans and analysts alike. These discrepancies, which have too often been contradictory, highlight divergent perspectives within the team and illustrate the challenges of aligning managerial vision with on-track realities. The French team principal is navigating an unexpectedly turbulent period, and this occurs while there are still numerous races left in the current Formula One championship. Additionally, the introduction of new technical regulations looms ever closer, promising to reshape car performance and competitive dynamics across the grid. Despite these pressures, Fred Vasseur, who recently renewed his contract with Ferrari, remains a seasoned professional. His career spans multiple teams and contexts, many of which were significantly different from the historical and culturally unique environment of the Maranello-based team. His experience managing diverse technical and competitive challenges gives him tools to steer the team through this transitional phase, even if the current situation is particularly delicate. In Maranello, for once, the instinct for dramatic or abrupt interventions has not dominated decision-making. The French team principal will continue his role thanks to the renewed confidence shown by Ferrari's top management. This continuity comes at a critical moment, just before yet another technological revolution in the pinnacle of motorsport. On paper, maintaining consistency and stability during periods of technological change is a key advantage, allowing the team to adapt without sacrificing long-term strategic vision. Ferrari is challenging outdated dogmas. To reclaim its historic dominance, Ferrari must draw lessons from the values that built the team's legendary status. Senior management has decided to focus on what it describes as dynamic stability, an approach that proved successful under Jean Tot's leadership in the early 2000s. Jean Tot's guidance allowed Ferrari to navigate critical moments, building the famous Dream Team that dominated Formula One for over 5 consecutive years. The lesson is clear. The foundation of success lies in certainty at all levels of the organization and in avoiding the trap of adhering to outdated dogmas or rigid practices that no longer fit the contemporary competitive landscape. But what are the key pillars on which Ferrari can build a new cycle of sustained victories? While the team's competencies and resources are abundant, the question arises whether establishing a structure in the United Kingdom capable of embedding itself within the technological hub that hosts 9 out of 10 Formula One teams, would be beneficial. This would not be a mere antenna for technical monitoring, as some pioneers attempted in the early 1990s. The evolution of information technology, particularly in design collaboration, makes geographical constraints far less critical. In modern Formula One engineering, the concept of concurrent engineering allows teams of designers and engineers to collaborate effectively, irrespective of physical location. This makes it feasible and potentially advantageous for Ferrari to establish a racing division in the heart of the UK's Arrow Valley. Such a move could strategically align the team with cutting-edge technological developments, while also facilitating recruitment of top engineers who are often concentrated in that area. Historical precedent shows the benefits of integrating talent from diverse technical cultures. The arrival of figures like Rory Byrne, Ross Brawn, and other engineers from British teams provided Ferrari with insights that would have been impossible to cultivate in isolation. And we once again arrive at the endemic challenge of data correlation, as Ferrari faces a persistent technical challenge that has affected car performance for over a decade. the so-called data correlation syndrome. Before analyzing the issue, it is necessary to examine whether Maranello's technological infrastructure is truly state-of-the-art. This includes the recently updated wind tunnel and simulation systems, encompassing both hardware and software components such as computer-aided design, computer-aided engineering, and finite element method tools. Competing teams such as McLaren and Aston Martin have invested heavily in modern wind tunnels, while Red Bull has replaced its post-war Bedford facility with a modern aerodynamic center. The prohibition of on-track testing since 2009 has arguably penalized Ferrari more than most teams. Historically, the ability to conduct constant testing at its own circuits, Fiorano and Mugello, provided the team with a significant competitive advantage. Since the testing ban, projects developed at Maranello that did not meet expectations have frequently suffered from poor data correlation, where simulation data failed to accurately predict real-world performance. This technical gap has contributed to some of the challenges the team has faced over the last 15 years, highlighting the critical need for modernized infrastructure and precise data analysis. Frederic Vasseur has emphasized the need for stability within the team, but such calm can only be achieved through transparent and consistent communication. Ferrari must clearly define its objectives for the 2025 season and beyond. Concealing problems that cannot be mitigated, even with a redesigned rear suspension, is counterproductive. A shift toward open communication could relieve the immense pressure that often results from pre-season proclamations that fail to align with reality. This clarity could also foster the sense of calm and control that Frederic Vasseur seeks, ensuring that fans of the Prancing Horse can process disappointments without emotional overreaction. However, organizational stability must be coupled with on-track results. Without tangible performance improvements, Ferrari risks prolonging what might be described as a therapeutic obsession, where the team invests continuously in solutions that fail to deliver measurable progress, simply for the sake of avoiding the acknowledgement of failure. The broader lesson for Ferrari is clear. Success requires balancing historical values with modern innovation. Drawing on past experiences, the team must embrace flexible, evidence-driven engineering practices, leverage global talent networks, and invest decisively in simulation and aerodynamic tools. At the same time, maintaining consistent management, clear communication, and a culture of stability can help mitigate the intense pressure that accompanies Formula One competition. In conclusion, Ferrari is at a critical juncture. Frederic Vasseur's continued leadership provides a degree of stability, but the Italian team must address long-standing technical challenges, modernize its infrastructure, and adapt its organizational philosophy to contemporary Formula One realities. Only by combining tradition with innovation, while fostering clarity and consistency both on and off the track, can Ferrari hope to reclaim its place at the very top of the sport. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely, anticipating whether the Prancing Horse can transform strategic vision into championship-winning performance.